Welcome, everybody. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this event that we organized today on a very important topic. We, from the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub, started this initiative where the key aspects are collaboration, innovation, and capacity building. And one of the very important industries that tackles and it expects to transform the future years is the construction industry. So that is one of the reasons why today we are addressing this topic of how to build circular futures and see how circular economy can be adapted into the construction industry in the Western Balkans. This is the agenda that we have prepared for you today. Let me briefly present what is the plan. We will start with few information related to what the hub is, the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub. It was just recently established. What are the key activities and how this topic fits to the activities. The first session that we have today is dedicated to the role of the green building councils. We already have good examples coming from our neighboring countries in the Western Balkans. Then we will hear their insights, but also hear from some of the colleagues from other European countries as well, and how they're dealing with and what type of activities that they have in the frame of these councils. We will continue with the next session dedicated to one of the EU projects in the Horizon program. The topic is circular economy in construction. The project title is RECONMATIC, and our colleagues will present what are their findings and some of the results that they have achieved in this project. We will continue with the third session afterwards, highlighting few good examples from the Balkans. And it is a pleasure to share that these are quite few already, and we would like to spotlight them, share what they've already achieved, but again also discuss what are the challenges and certain barriers that are already existing and would like to be jointly tackled in a sense of finding solutions, finding incentives in order to transform the construction sector as such. Afterwards, we'll continue with open questions, sharings. All of you are invited to use the chat while the presentations are going, and we will address the questions that you have, the comments that you would like also to address in the last part of our session, networking and interactive discussion. So let's first hear a few words on what the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub is. It is a recently established hub with the support of two organizations, Helvetas and SIDA, and managed by the Institute for Research in Environment, Civil Engineering and Energy. I'm representing this institute, and what is important and relevant to say, especially for today's event, is that the institute is established by a construction company, just celebrated 50 years of activity, Civil Engineering Institute Macedonia, and quite active in the field in the Western Balkans. So this connection and dedication to the construction industry comes also quite natural for us in that sense. So we have the 6 Western Balkan countries, which are all non-EU countries, but all are still affected and are trying to apply as much as possible the legislation that comes from EU. We are working together with the Chamber of Commerce in establishing the hub, but also addressing and inviting other stakeholders who are active in the field as well. The key activities, today I will only briefly share with you what are the key activities, and later on maybe we can address them more in the follow-up session and in the email that you will receive. There are a series of activities that we're organizing. One of the first activity addressing circular economy in our region would be through trainings and capacity buildings. The second one is through information. disseminating information, raising awareness. But also, as the name itself states, it is a hub. So we are providing this opportunity for collaboration and for networking. Also, some of the members who are already interested in the topic or would like to dive deeper also in this journey of circular economy will receive mentorship and support and information related to where to find finance, how to establish new consortiums, and ask for grants. Follow-up activities will be also organized in relation to advisory services, especially for companies, for organizations who are now ready to embrace the circular business model, what type of strategies are needed, how to make some changes into their consumption, into their production aspects as well, and serving as a body to raise and to voice what is needed to be said in relation to circular economy to different stakeholders, especially to public institutions, and to be present into this type of working bodies where the circular economy aspects are being discussed. And we're not only addressing companies, but also talking to women and young people. So there will be a set of activities that we organize through the hub, especially for young people, different type of challenges and hackathons that will start from September onwards. And the last point you see here on the slide are emphasizing and boosting good examples and started the C Circular Economy Award ceremony. The hub will also have a digital platform, so the website where we are already in development activities, and please expect this to be finalized early September. So on the hub website, there will be the knowledge library with lots of resources, templates, tools, other type of documents which are relevant for each of the country, for the region, but also on European level as well. And to hear about the latest news, upcoming events, but also training materials that will be available for the ones who would like to start their learning journey on circular economy. You can involve in the hub activities either as an individual or organization. You can become a member of the hub. We will share the form that you can express your interest of becoming a member in the hub, either as individual or organization later on in chat. And one of the activities that we also have is compiling this best cases with this big compilation of reaching to 100 best cases in the region of these circular initiatives, as I mentioned, the award ceremony. And few words before we start with the first session. Why construction industry? I hope you are already aware that in all the roadmaps for circular economy in the region, construction industry is one of the selected ones. One of the expected industries to change and to adapt, to transform the way that things being done. And we can see that it's very important as industry, contributing to an extensive amount of the economic development for each of us as countries. A lot of people are being employed in the construction industry as well, on one side, but on the other side, what we also see that there is quite a lot of challengers or things to be considered, especially now talking about circular economy. This is a resource-intensive industry. There is a lot of waste that being created, but not always handled in the proper way and managed. The market for secondary material is almost non-existential. So these are one of the steps that are needed to happen in order really to have a functioning circular economy in the construction industry. As I mentioned, there are quite few barriers. Only few are listed here. We will have a discussion in session 3, so I hope we can also maybe address few of them. One related to the regulations on national strategies and laws, some related to the market, especially for secondary resources and materials. The lack of funding, it's always a topic, how to find support and resources in order to introduce new business models, to introduce new type of materials, but also first to do research and innovate things, which are one of the first steps as well. And what we are observing also in other industries, but related now to circular economy, lack of collaboration. There are already existing collaboration type of cooperations between industry and academia and the public institutions, but still there is a much more needed to be done in order really to develop and scale circular solutions. So that's on one side. We have quite few barriers and challenges, but still on the other side, we can also see that there are quite a lot of opportunities that are there. There are opportunities if you look at the European Union, their regulation, what are the possibilities there, possibilities to start piloting things and create projects and innovation hubs as such, connection to the circular economy in construction with digitalization tools. We will hear some information on that as well, and possibilities and opportunities first to upskill, to reskill ourselves, to support organizations on this path to different varieties, whether it will be workshop, events like this, different type of trainings activities, but also research-related activities as well, and opportunities for regional cooperation. And I think this is something that we can emphasize at this event quite a lot. What are the first recommendations that we are looking at to unlock the circular potential in the construction industry? Would first be to raise awareness. So start discussing what circular economy is, how this is related to the sector, how we can also see some practical guidelines and tools and already good practices and circular business models available. To develop the capacities on individuals, of the professionals, but also the construction companies and other relevant stakeholders who are part of this industry as well. To dedicate special financial incentives, so funds available specifically for this construction industry on different levels for different activities, but definitely one of the first starting point will be to invest in research, in development, and in innovation. So to stimulate the innovation aspects, and one of the things that we will hear in the second session is actually dedicated to an example of this type of research and innovation projects supported by the Horizon program. So I will stop here, and now let's start with the first session. So we have with us Nastasia, who is working at Helvetas, and she is supporting this process of establishing the green building councils in the region. And she will moderate the first session and invite the speakers. We have several of them coming from different countries in the region. So Nastasia, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Angelina. Hello to everyone and welcome to this session. As you were able to see from the agenda, we'll be speaking about the role of the Green Building Councils in advancing circular economy in the built environment. I'm pleased to be joined here today by a couple of representatives from the Green Building Councils in the Western Balkans. We'll be speaking about the role of the Green Building Councils to make construction more sustainable by promoting either energy efficient design, circular material use, better policy frameworks, but most of all, collaborative engagement. As Angelina mentioned, through the RECONOMY program, Helvetas in partnership with CEPROSART has supported the establishment of green building councils in countries where they didn't exist, such as Albania, North Macedonia, Kosovo, and Montenegro. But we've also provided additional support to already existing green building councils, such as is the case of the Green Building Council in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Together, we aim to support them to become key actors in enabling green and circular practices, the overall transition in the Western Balkans. And as I said, I'm joined here today by representatives from 3 green building councils. They're all excellent speakers, very dedicated professionals. I believe they'll be able to bring very unique perspectives from each one of their countries. And I have to say that their commitment overall is quite inspiring and essential for where we want to see our region go. So I'm very pleased to welcome Sanela Klaric, which comes from the Green Building Council of Bosnia and Herzegovina. She brings a deep experience in both sustainability and circularity, and Fakhr Shazemi from the Kosovo Green Building Council, joined by Fiona Ilyazi from the Albanian Green Building Council. Both are playing a role in shaping the vision, the priorities, and the future direction of where they want to see the green building councils go in their countries. So welcome to all of you. I'm sure we'll have a great discussion, some great insights. And I'd like to begin now with Sanela. Let's discuss a bit about the experiences of the Green Building Council in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's been established since 2010. Maybe you can tell us more about what makes the Green Building Council uniquely positioned to promote circular practices in comparison to other actors.
Hello to everybody. Thank you for the invitation. We are so glad that we could share some of our experiences. We, as you said, we established in 2010 when we started with this different projects here, and Green Building Council really took a really leading role, let's say, when we're talking about sustainable architecture, responsible building sector, or circular economy. Myself, I'm trained as an architect, and I'm working as associated professor on International Burj University. And this is really great opportunity when you could link also academy together with some non-profit organizations. And also now, last 6.5 years, I'm a member of the parliament in Federation Bosnia and Herzegovina. So this is really great when you could actually all those experiences linked together, because you also presented how important is to work together, but also how important is work on the regional level. We are really doing different small pilot projects, and then in same time we are researching and publishing the research papers, and then we are advocating all that in the parliament on different level of the governments. So this is for us, especially when we're talking about circular economy. Our first project was linked to rural development and agriculture, because we find a lot of materials as a waste coming from agriculture, or was managed by Ministry of the Agriculture and Rural Development, such as sheep wool, straw, clay, wood, and lime. And this is what we actually decided to do together with the university and many local companies, and of course with the support of the donors and from the university from abroad. Together with 100 partners, we actually start to build one experimental building in Sarajevo in the university campus. And that was really great, because it wasn't a project that we applied to one donor and then to build. We actually want all those partners to come with different involvement, investments in labor, in materials or money. And then we actually teach students how to design, and then how to apply to the municipality to actually get permissions to build, and then they build. So learning by doing was our aim, and we actually work 4 years in a row with different student with different summer schools. We get 60 students every year to work together from all over the world. And still we are in contact with them. And it was experimental building where we even come to get nearly zero energy building, because we also have renewable energies to support actually all the activities in the buildings. And we also use a lot of sensors to also have a data and to have a digital tools to also follow all these properties of the materials and indoor air quality in that sense. So beside that project, we also did a lot in measuring indoor air quality in the schools, because we also want to discuss these current practices where we focusing on the envelope on the buildings, and then with all this styrofoam and plastic windows, we sealing actually classrooms, and pupils and students in the classrooms really do have very, very polluted air and that caused them a problem to get results in academic way. And that's why we actually measured in 4 different scenarios, and we published the papers, but in the same time, we also work with the politicians here and in the parliament, in the federation, we adopted 1 resolutions where now government of federation is working on different legislations and starting to adopt environment that we could actually set up all these standards from the EU if you're talking about indoor air quality. And also if you're talking about green certification of the buildings, that indoor air quality is something that you must do in order to get some of the certificate. We also work a lot on life cycle assessment and waste management programs. We did research, and then we also together with City Ljubljana made 1 roadmap for Sarajevo, and now working a lot with this local companies, public companies, about waste management, which is also important if we're talking about building waste. And that's why we opened Matchmaker Center with 1 cross-border project here, actually regional cooperation project in West Balkan. And in the interior design, we use the waste together with students. We actually show different examples how we could use all the doors, all windows, all cardboard or some other materials that actually shouldn't be waste, but could be really recycled or reused. Also second-hand or third-hand furniture, why to just put on the dump, why not to actually reuse and to show how they could also have a sense. The most important, I think, role for green building councils in the Western Balkans, but all over the world, is to discuss health. It's really important to put in the center humans, and that's why green certification is also important when we're talking about life cycle assessment, but also about materials. And we finally starting a lot of educations with the building sector, with the industry in the building sector, how they could improve the quality of their products, how they could start also innovative way of productions by using waste, how they could recycle or reuse, how actually firstly we have to rethink, and actually change our building center in that line. We also talk a lot about green cities and about resources like soil, air, and water. And with 1 project, we last year got this award, a public award from the new European Bauhaus initiatives, where our project, Map for Water, Sarajevo City of the 1,000 of the fountains, actually got this award, where we also discuss how we could use the water resources, especially on the Balkan. All of us do have a lot of fountains in the cities. We map them and we show that most of them are unloved, they are not in the functions, and also how we have to awareness raised about quality of the water in the fountains, and how we could have a lot of stories about fountains, historical layers, but also if they are in the function, how many of the plastic bottles we could save, because we
Yes.
could actually we could always have some refund bottles, and then people actually could have gadgets where we could, on the map, they could see all different fountains, and they actually could use our water, and we could brand actually city Sarajevo, but other cities on the Balkan as cities of the free drinking water as well. Also, what we did. Okay, a lot of projects. Sorry.
I was going to say thank you, Sanela. You gave us quite a nice, perspective of the different things that you're doing, but also so that we can holistically see what can go in which direction, and potentially this will be quite inspiring for all the participants and for the newly established green building councils. I'll be coming back to you, especially because you also mentioned interior design, circular economy practices in interior design. We've been to your office. We had a chance to see how you can lead by example, but I would also like to afterwards come back to you so that you can tell us even more about collaborating with different types of actors that you mentioned. Now, just very briefly, I'd like to also go to Fakhrush, who is our representative from the Kosovo Green Building Council. Maybe Fakhrush can tell us a bit about the vision of the Kosovo Green Building Council, but also how do you see circular economy, Fakhrush, fitting into your mission as the council grows?
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you today. Here is a good opportunity to talk about these very important issues. As you know, Nastasia, we founded the Kosovo Green Building Council in September 2024, last year. It all started as a regional initiative launched by Helvetas, founded by SIDA and implemented by Seprosar. When I first heard about it in my office, it was Emilia with all her friends, and they represented to me. I immediately saw how important this initiative could be for Kosovo. So, based on my background and expertise as an architect, environmental specialist, I rolled up my sleeves and got to work together with my team. In just a few months, we have achieved quite a lot. And first, we officially registered KGBC as an NGO, and we formed the initial governing structure and are continuing to build the full team in line with our status. We drafted our internal regulation and guide our operations. Then we developed a 5-year strategy to give us clear direction. We created our brand identity. KGBC now has a logo, social media present, and website that's currently is in the works. Then beyond the setup, we have been actively building a partnership and making our presence known. We have had meetings with key decision makers and signed many cooperation agreements here in Kosovo in many states to many stakeholders. In May, we were invited to Circle 2025, organized by USGBC Europe in Prague, where lead version 5 was launched. That was a big moment of exposure over us. Shortly after, we partnered with Balkan Connect Festival, where KGBC hosted a major promotional event. It lasted 2 days and brought together many international businesses and from our whole region. Our event had amazing energy, speakers from the international banks and international institutions, architects, engineers, and many people. And the highlight, we signed a partnership agreement with Christine Lemaitre, CEO of DGMB. This made KGBC the exclusive academic partner of the German Sustainable Building Council for Kosovo. So this partnership is a game changer for us. For the first time, we access to international sustainability standards that are customized to local conditions. So just a week after signing this agreement, our 5 founding members began DGNB training, and now we are in the final phase, preparing for the exams to become licensed DGNB experts. So now when it comes to circular economy, our mission is fully aligned. Besides the experience we already have, the DGNB trainings is helping us understand the EU certification frameworks even better. For example, we are now working closely with the EU Energy Performance of Buildings Directive, the EU standard finance taxonomy, which classifies what kind of activities count as environmentally sustainable. So at the heart of the DGNB system, who knows, is life cycle assessment. And in my view, LCA and the circular economy go hand in hand. So both aim to reduce environmental harm and boost sustainability. When used together, they create a powerful path forward for sustainable buildings and development in Kosovo. So our motto for the circular economy is waste is not waste. Waste is a resource.
Perfect. Thank you, Parush. Thank you for this overview, and thank you for sharing what has been done from the KGBC side. We're also quite happy to see you growing, to see your membership base growing.
Thank you.
And we look forward to all the successes that are about to come. And as I said here, we also have Fiona Iyazi. She's a representative from the Green Building Council in Albania, also newly established Green Building Council. Fiona, hello to you as well. Maybe you can tell us also a bit more about your initial priorities. How do you envision circular economy shaping the long-term focus of Green Building Council Albania? And then maybe we can also speak about opportunities for regional collaboration. But the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nastasia. It's a great pleasure to be here and to talk about Green Building Councils. As a new organization that was established in October 2024, Green Building Council Albania was established as a body to mobilize key stakeholders to accelerate the green transition by promoting green building practices and advocating for better green policy. Also for engaging a wide network of businesses, organizations, academia, and governments contributing towards sustainable building. Increasing access to certification services will provide the utilization of certified material and new technology and the employability of skills diverse target groups. Some of our services are networking to connect to industry leaders, innovators, and like-minded professionals across various sectors in Albania and also in the region. Education and training, access tailored workshops, seminars, and resources to enhance expertise in the usage of sustainable practices and green building technologies. Collaboration and advocacy, to be engaged in meaning collaboration and drive engaged through advocacy for sustainable practices. Recognitions and influence, to enhance your organizational and personal profile by becoming part of a recognized community that promotes environmental responsibility. Also contributing to a sustainable future. Actively participating in initiatives that prioritize environmental presentations, energy efficiency, and community well-being for current and future generations. As a new organization established lately, the initial priorities of Green Building Council Albania are to mobilize stakeholders for green transition. Green Building Council Albania acts as a platform to bring together organizations, businesses, academia, and governments to accelerate the shift towards sustainable construction and green building councils practices. Promoting also green building council practices. It encourages the adoption of sustainable branding materials, certified green technologies, and energy efficiency design strategies. Advocating for better green policies, the Council supports the development and implementation of policies that foster environmental responsibilities and sustainable urban development. Supporting employability and inclusion. It enhances employability for skilled professionals across diverse groups by supporting training and capacity building in the green building sector. Also, how does Green Building Council support the circular economy? Is through educational and training programs. Offers tailored seminars and workshops to disseminate knowledge about sustainable practices, helping build a workforce that is equipped to implement circular economy principles, resource efficiency and material reuse through promotion of certified material and green construction technology. Green Building Council Albania encourages efficient resources use and reduced construction waste as a key aspects of a circular economy. Also through regional networking and collaboration, facilitates cross-border collaboration and knowledge exchange across the Western Balkans, enabling a wider impact on the circular economy adaptation. And also the last one, innovation and research sharing that provides access to cutting-edge researches, tools, and best practices that support circular economy construction models and environmental sustainability.
Thank you, Fiona, for the whole presentation as well. I think it gives also the participants a clear idea of an even better understanding of what is the value that these green building councils would also bring to their members. Within the chat, you can find also a form of interest which you can fill out in case you would like to learn more about the green building councils or potentially even become a member. We will review everything accordingly. Fiona, you mentioned also regional collaboration, which is quite important. And you also mentioned collaboration with diverse stakeholders. Before we finish, I'd like to go back again to Sanela, because we also said that we will be discussing the different types of collaboration with different types of stakeholders. I also saw a question in the chat, which was later answered, about attracting academia and involving academia. But maybe, Sanela, you can tell us about what has worked well in engaging the private sector, policymakers, academia. What are some challenges that you potentially came across? It could be a good lesson for the newly established green building councils, but also interesting for our participants.
Yeah, thank you. So all collaborations are really helpful, because all those topics are very innovative. We were the pioneers in 2010. It was very hard to really talk about natural materials, waste, circular economy, but we started on the way really to come with the partners. So on all meetings, we are coming with partners from industry or building sector, or from donors, or from academia, and that's really the way. We also had a huge support after we really working a lot here with Horizon 2020 project, Smarter for Families, where actually for the first time we got support from 20 countries and 17 different organizations to develop this certification for the residential buildings, green certification, and we are still members of the advisory board of the Project Smarter for EU, where we now also trying to establish one of the center of the excellence for the green certification in the future for the Europe, which is really important for us. We also use a lot of Erasmus projects, like some of the professors said, where we bringing also academy, because also in our university, especially the public ones, it's not easy to change, and because all those innovations are in daily changes. So it's really important to motivate the professors and the teachers to adapt, to those changes in the daily manner. Then we also try to become a member of the World Green Building Council network. But for us, it was too expensive in 2010. But we did communicate in that way. And now probably it's time also for us. And as colleague Fakhrus said, we also did sign last week partnership agreement with DGNB. So we are bringing that green certification exclusively here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and this academy as well. So I think all those actually networks and collaborations are really important. And especially I'm so happy that I'm also today with you, and that I could see colleagues that are now with the brand new green building councils in the regions are very full of the motivations and very enthusiastic. I think this is also important with your hub to work together in the region. We are too small to work individually in our countries, and we really do a lot of knowledge to exchange. If we're talking about circular economy, it is also about to discuss that this is not only economical topic, because it's interdisciplinarity is something that we have to work a lot on for people to understand, because it's not only one ministry to work on the circular economy. Actually, all ministries needs to work together, which is, I think, the hardest for us in the practice, because they always like to actually work on something that they are focusing on. So interdisciplinarity is something that we need to do a lot of trainings, a lot of capacities about that. And this is maybe the huge obstacle in that sense. And if we're talking about building sector, I think also this new innovative practices, building sector doesn't have time. They don't have in this moment financial reasons. So we have to talk with the banks and also to see which companies are ready for innovative approach, and especially because we are not part of the EU, we don't in this moment we don't need to have this certification for the products. Only companies who are exporting in the EU actually they need to do that. They understand what CBAM is and what are the digital passport is for the product. So I think with those companies, big companies or international companies together, with this green certification process, we actually will be able to spread. And I think it's really momentum. We are pioneers here. We are tired now, but with all this Green Building Council in the regions, we got new gear, let's say, and we will continue stronger.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you also mentioned the importance of access to finance. Collaborating with banks, RECONMATIC is quite supportive in that regard. We're working on that holistic approach. And as you mentioned, the DGNB certification process, we're very proud to have supported through RECONMATIC also the signing of the DGNB certification and afterwards the process of becoming auditors. I would like to thank all of you very much for all the insights. If there are some further questions, we will also follow up with you. We will be discussing questions afterwards in the interactive session. So I'll give the word back to Angelina from my side. Thank you all, and we look forward to all the great initiatives which will arise from individual, national, but also regional collaboration between.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. It is a wonderful start of our discussion, and I see the chat is active. There are questions and answers already happening, but bear with us. We also have a few more examples to be shared, and I think this will answer some of the questions as well and give the better understanding of the green building councils, both in the region and in other European countries. Now we continue with a very interesting project, RECONMATIC. It is supported by the Horizon program, where the topic is related to the construction industry and the circular economy. We have colleagues from several countries who will present today the results of the project. So I invite Egle and Jan to present the findings. And yes, let's hear about the project itself and anything you would like to share with us at this moment in relevance to the topic. So Jan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Angelina. Hello, everyone. I will just share presentation which we prepared. So do you see it?
It's loading. Yes, you can make it full screen. It is.
Yeah. Okay, now it shall be full screen, and I just need to switch you a bit down. So, okay. Hello, everyone. Once again, we agreed with Angelina that we will share with you some of, let's say, the solutions or approaches we are doing in the RECONMATIC project, which is a Horizon Europe project. Just a few key project parameters. We started 22 and we will finish mid of next year. It's a research innovation action. So these projects are normally 100% funded by the Commission. What is furthermore interesting that at that time when we started the project or when we applied for the project, UK was not still having with the EU the association agreements for research and innovation. So they are funded separately by direct national funding in the UK. And last but not least, we integrated our work with China as well, which might be quite strange because there are still a lot of discussions and fights between Europe and China. Nevertheless, at that time, it was somehow of preference that we are working with China as well. So China represented by the Chinese Association for Circular Economy and let's say more than 9 or 10 partners behind them are integrated in our project as well. From Europe, we are 16 partners. Then we have 5 more from UK. It's a mix of universities and construction companies and other type of industrial partners which are forming this consortium, and the consortium is coordinated by us in Czech Republic. So it shall be, let's say, motivation for you in other European countries which are maybe part of EU, that we shall really not fear that we are young members of the EU and we are not able to get these projects. It is possible, of course. It is maybe not as easy to us, but it is possible. RECONMATIC as a project is focusing mainly on construction and demolition waste and how to improve the management and solutions related to this kind of waste. What we have done at the beginning, we have defined, let's say, around 6 typical areas or missions where we can do in the construction sector something with waste. Either avoid or provide higher added value or better sort the waste. So these are in the life cycle of building or infrastructure, the typical missions where we can do something. What we defined for the project as objectives in these missions, and you can see that it starts with avoiding the waste, going then to reducing or pre-sorting, sorting waste, etc. There are usually different options you have or solutions you can provide. You can, of course, think how in designing, think better about solutions which later would avoid or better make it possible to reuse materials. Or if this is not possible and the structures already exist, and sooner or later you have refurbish or even demolish the buildings, you can think about how to prepare yourself to make this better working. And of course, last but not least, when the building is demolished or the refurbishment works are done, you have a kind of material which it is always very effective to think how to valorize in best way so that we can keep it in the loop and following the principles we are trying to let's say push forward in Europe more and more. Of course, these projects are always linked to some demonstration cases. There is a map with the places where we will or where we are right now starting our demonstration cases. And as you can, at least from the pictures, see, it is not only about buildings, but for example, in Italy, we are focusing on railway structures. In CZ, we are even having one demonstrator with buildings and another with the roads. So we are really trying to cover the whole construction sector, because there are even differences between building sector and civil work. So this is also important to understand that we can most probably not have always one solution for everything, but look how we can adopt solutions which maybe work in the opposite ways. Of course, for you, maybe the closest demonstration case is in Greece. I will later show you what we are demonstrating there. Just giving now a taste of what are the solutions. The first one, which can be more or less implemented immediately by everyone, is linked to a new kind of data dictionary, which was linked to Building Smart. So it's something useful for BIM and everything related to BIM, where we defined various materials which we are getting not only as part of the construction, but later on during generation of the waste. And at the same time, we selected some of the elements because, you know, there are a lot of products we have in the construction sector. So we picked only a few of them for which we try to define parameters which, according to this dictionary, are important so that we can follow in a building or in infrastructure project these properties to make it later possible or more effective to be recycled or reused. So these parameters from the dictionary can then be embedded in different data standards which we have in BIM. And as you know, usually each country is trying to adopt its own data standards. So you are then free to use and to decide which of the parameters defined in this dictionary can be taken to your data standards. Another aspect related to construction demolition waste is, of course, how to better make the decision process and the decision making itself when waste shall occur, usually during reconstruction or demolition works. You most probably are aware about the guidelines which are provided by EU for the pre-demolition audits, and these guidelines have been updated last year. So we are building on this and trying to make at least some parts of the auditing process more automated and easier for the auditors to get data, to link data, and later on to reach effective decisions. There will be soon a tool, a web-based tool, which will help to do this for the auditors, especially if you have for the building model. Then you can display and even have options what kind of solutions you have, for example, for concrete in your building. So that's something we are definitely later happy to share with you, because it makes only sense to reach these results if they are then used by broad expert audience and not just being a result because we have promised something for the EU. The previous tool is closely linked to the necessity that it is effective if you have digital models. And as in most, or I would say in all countries, we have often the problem that, of course, for new buildings, if we are integrating building information modeling or management, we are able later have a model. But there are 99% of all structures which do not have models. So we have been focusing on that, so that there is again some useful and let's say a bit automated process how to get these simplified models for end-of-life structures. And we defined two ways how this can be approached. The first way, which we can share as RECONMATIC, is to get the digital models from CAD drawings. If these drawings are available, they are usually available as 2D drawings, and how, based on these drawings, which have, for example, been done 30 years ago, how we can then create a model and link some attributes to all elements, or at least to the most critical elements in the model. And then based on that, if you have such a model, put it in the auditing app and reach faster a decision where I have, for example, brick walls, and how much is the volume, what can I do with this material, how can I better do my sorting when I'm preparing the demolition itself, etc. So that's one option. The second option is that I have nothing. So you have no drawings, no, let's say, detailed geometric data about your building, and the only option is to scan and to get a model based on the scan. Of course, the 3D scanning is a quite well-known technique. What is, let's say, very demanding is to get from the point clouds the model itself. And what we have developed in this case was a process which makes this much faster. And instead of spending weeks with getting, for example, the building you are seeing on the right side, a model for the building in several weeks, we were able to reduce this to just days, or even in some cases when it is really very easy type of building ours. Yeah, so that's an option. We are also happy to share with you the solution how to get automated or semi-automated process for transferring a point cloud to a model. Of course, you are not able to avoid the scanning, but even with the more effective SLAM scanners today, you are able to get the scanning within 1 or 2 days for the building, like you see on the right side. Then I mentioned in the one of the first slides speaking about the emissions, the problem of pre-sorting and sorting. Of course, it is well known that we can do it by hand, that people are staying and trying pick and throw different materials. RECONMATIC was trying to define at the beginning a solution which would make it possible to more effectively reuse robotic solutions. There are, of course, some robust existing solutions provided by, for example, by Zen Robotics from Finland, but they are really very robust and you need a huge space. What we are trying to focus on in RECONMATIC is get a more mobile solution, maybe more effective for final sorting when you have done already on a site some pre-sorting, but you still have concrete bricks, plasterboards, etc. together, and you need at least one of these material to be, let's say, selected and sorted away from the material source. And for this, we firstly have been looking on some machine learning and deep learning solutions so that you can learn a robot what is the right material he has to detect and pick and throw away. And of course, for materials we have in construction sector, it's sometimes not as easy because you know, especially if you have, for example, concrete and aerated concrete, then it looks quite similar, and you have to find the right features so that the robot is later able to select the right material and put it to a right stockpile. So that's something which has been reached in RECONMATIC as well, with getting the most effective algorithms or models which with high probability are able to do this. And this will be, or at this moment is linked to the finalization of a prototype of a robot which is at this moment trained especially for the fine sorting of mineral construction demolition waste, where we are looking for getting all the pieces of plasterboards out so that we can have aggregates or recycled aggregates which contain only concrete and bricks, but are not contaminated by anything else. Then interesting and for the practice maybe useful in the near future will be if we are able to get some additional control on what is on our skips or containers when they are stored at a construction site, and you would like to get more information if the sorting is correct, or if the skip is filled to the maximum allowed content, etc. Yeah, for this we have developed some smart IoT devices which are mounted to the containers or skips with solutions which are at this moment using radio waves, because this was detected as the most effective way, since using mobile phone technologies or Wi-Fi is usually providing to you more dependence on the availability of the signal. For specific radio frequencies, it is much better. So that's something we integrated in our IoT system. Plus, we have been looking on sensors which are really very low energy demanding, because another problem, of course, in these cases is that you have sensors, but to have the ability that the sensor is collecting data and sending data somewhere, it needs energy. And if you are linking it to a battery, then sooner or later the battery has to be recharged. And we wanted to make it as durable, as much durable as possible. And of course, this is just a start. We are already now testing and trying to use the same solution, even with integration in buildings, to, for example, monitor some failure states or some deformation states of concrete structures, etc. So this is then another application where you can, with the same principle of sensors, find a completely different use case. Another very useful application where you can combine WASTE as the data dictionary with, for example, digital product passports, is the creation of product or material data banks, because this is something which designers are then able very quickly use and include or embed in their digital models. There are two approaches we are following in RECONMATIC. This, what I'm sharing with you, is the example we are following in Czech Republic with a startup company which is already working on a database for a long, or data bank for a long time, and we are trying to include more parameters to the products, so that we have not only the basic let's say attributes about the products later in our digital models, but we have also the information about, for example, recyclability, or how much content of recycled material is in my product. Yeah, because this is again later for the decision when this product in 30 or 40 years will be recycled. Very important to know. And that's something which we have learned we are quite often missing today, if we are thinking about products which have been used in our structures 30, 40 years ago. And of course, as you can see, this can be for many products be linked then even to some barcodes or similar solutions where you can then even during the lifetime of your structure quickly get the same information which is stored in your model. Waste predictor is something which the UK team was inventing during the last 3 years, because they have huge, let's say, database of projects from the past, and based on this, it is then possible to create a new application which shall help designers when they have to reach some optimum decision about a solution. Typically, you have to make a solution if for some of the structures in your project, it is better to go with material A or B. And if you have additional information about how much waste you are generating by constructing or integrating this material or product during the construction, or later if you have to deconstruct the material and use it again or effectively recycle, then it is very effective if you have as much information as possible about the scenario, which of these material or product solutions are more effective. And that's exactly what a waste predictor shall do. It shall provide some support to the designer to make a better technical decision if the technical solution A or B or C is better in terms of reusability, recyclability, etc. Then I have mentioned the solution which is closest to the region where you are coming from, and it's a blockchain-driven solution which was invented by colleagues from Greece, from Thessaloniki and the University of Thessaly, in cooperation with some industrial partners. The blockchain is not to make, let's say, better use of waste. It is a quite smart solution to reach a state where you are avoiding waste during construction or construction phase of a building. Typically for concreting, we are very often facing the situations that you are ordering a little bit more concrete so that you are sure that for the works you have to do, you have everything you need, and then the remaining concrete is sent back to the batching plant and is becoming a waste. Or another option is that a construction site is not or at the construction site, not the right type of concrete is arriving, or the concrete is arriving too late, etc., etc. And the blockchain shall avoid these situations and shall help to minimize any remainings we are generating. So in the blockchain, there is an online communication between the construction site, which is ordering the producer, which is producing the right concrete at the right time, and the logistics, meaning the transportation company, which is then hauling the material to your construction site. And by that, you're able to optimize the whole process and reach a situation that at the end there will be a very small remaining or even zero remaining of concrete, which fresh concrete, which you're generating on your site. And finally, the last conceptual part of RECONMATIC is about a digital information management system, which ideally would cover the whole life cycle of a building and would, for example, look on material flows. Yeah, so that in one system for the whole building, you have all information related to products or materials, which are helping to make at every moment the right decision. This is something which is at this moment in a conceptual stage, and if you're interested, I'm sure that Juan Ferris-Papi, who is also attending this meeting, can share with you later on more information, or even after this meeting, you can have with him more exchange. The idea is really to link all the information and data sources we have to one platform, so that every stakeholder which is linked to this platform can very quickly reach the most optimum decision. because you have the information about the project itself as a model or even digital twin. You have sooner or later some digital logbooks for the building. You have passports, and you can follow all the information related to these subsystems in one platform during the whole life cycle. So that's something we are right now developing, and during this or next year then trying to demonstrate at one of the construction sites. Why we are doing all this is just the very last slide about the challenges which the European Commission has set in this call. They simply would like to increase the recyclability. They would like to reach, let's say, a much better utilization of waste, because quite often we are having nice statistics, but if you're looking into the statistics we are having in EU, many of these information are linked, for example, to backfilling, and I'm sure that there will be a broad agreement that backfilling is not really recycling of construction and demolition waste, but it is still, let's say, shared with the public as a kind of recycling. And this is something the Commission would like, of course, to make better. And of course, they would like to link it with the digitalization and if possible, automation of processes, because it is then linked to workforce and the availability of the workforce we have on the European market. By that, thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions today or even later, here are the contacts, and we are happy to show you more or even discuss with you about any interests you shall have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan. This was quite an elaborative presentation, and definitely these Horizon projects are quite extensive, and it is obvious that you've done so much. And I'm sure that many of our participants today will also have some insights and ideas. And our intention was, when we organized the event, is to have follow-up sessions. So we are now just setting the scene, so to say, and looking forward to continue the discussion. Thank you again. We will now continue with the third session, and the third session is dedicated to best practices. Before I invite our speakers, I would like first to give a bit of information related to what is the initiative that we started of gathering these 100 best circular practices from all around the region in the Western Balkans. There is a form that you can fill in, or you can recommend somebody to join, fill in the application form, and be showcased as a good example. It doesn't matter from which industry it comes. There are different questions in the form addressing what were the challenges and how you've dealt it, what is the innovative aspect, and the intention is to create a publication with all these best cases. The pinnacle of all this is intended also to boost especially the ones who are leaders in the field, in the region. And we've opened the Circular Economy Awards. There are 7 categories. So not only for companies, they're also for design, for production aspects, but also for startups as related to the companies. But we also are encouraging different organizations to apply. So individual, leader, pioneer to receive this award, but also municipalities, civil society, and educational and research organizations who are active in the field. Later on, we will share this in the chat with these links and with the follow-up email. Now I have the pleasure to invite the first best case to be shared today. And this is coming from Greece. We have our partner from Sporos platform, Alexandros and Katerina are here today with us. They will share something that they're already doing, and it's quite interesting and exciting. At the moment, we will share the best practice itself, and later on in the last session, we will again open the floor for sharing and for questions, and also address some of the challenges that you all have when addressing the circular economy aspects. Alexandros, I hope, yes, you're here. Please, the floor is yours. If you would like, you can also share the slides. Welcome.
Hello, great to see you. Thank you very much, Angelina, and the whole team for the organization and the kind invitation. It's really a pleasure to work with you during all these months. On my side, I'm representing Sporos platform. Sporos is the first impact investing fund in Greece and one of the first similar initiatives in Southeast Europe. We focus on circular economy. And let's say that we have two main pillars. The one pillar is focused on circular innovation. So 40% of our investments are targeted towards startups. And 60% is targeted towards the circular transition. So focusing on more traditional industries and more mature SMEs that are in the process, both from a behavioral as well as from a business model perspective, to perform a transition towards circularity, climate resilience, and sustainability. I'll try to keep it short. From the startup ecosystem, we have already scanned more than 200 startups that could have applications in the broader circularity space when it comes to materials. Of course, reuse of materials is extremely important in the construction space, which is one of the most wasteful at a global scale. We have seen mostly startups coming from the space of digital records for construction of products and buildings through material passports, especially now that we have the legislation on digital product passporting, as well as reuse of construction materials. And one very interesting case that we are examining focuses on the area of green steel, which is very important both for asset managers, developers, and engineers, mostly on the repairability and reusability aspect, because recycling should be the ultimum refugium, at least from a circularity perspective. So this startup is automating steel procurement and incentivizes developers to reuse green steel in new constructions. Now, I will focus more on the circular transition aspect of things, where I think that we lag behind at the European level and especially in our region, because we see increasingly that most initiatives are targeted towards new ventures and innovation. But of course, innovation is really important also for established projects. So one of our first investments is in the island of Corfu. And we have a very interesting hospitality management project that tries to utilize and actually level up best practices, both in the field of construction as well as in the broader field of hospitality management that includes, of course, management of water, food, and energy, because this nexus is extremely important, especially for blue economy initiatives like the one we have in Kerkira. So what we try there is to bridge circularity with local considerations that are adjusted to the nature of the project in one of the most, let's say, growing in terms of tourism islands in Greece, which also has a lot of interconnections with the cultural heritage and the biodiversity of the region, as well as the food nexus that is related, of course, to seasonality and to sustainable sourcing. So on the construction side of things, we have set up a plan for preparation of non-hazardous waste for reuse and recycling, mostly construction and demolition waste. We are trying to be aligned with EU legislation on construction and demolition protocol, as well as initiatives such as the nearly zero energy buildings. Of course, materials are really important, and this is why we are trying to encourage the use of carbon negative cement, or at least climate neutral cement. And we have been exploring several options at the global level. This is also part of our value creation strategy towards the investees, because many times we have management teams that are willing to encapsulate state-of-the-art solutions. So our role as Poros is also to bring them in touch with very innovative ventures at the global scale that could use these innovative solutions and encapsulate them at the project management level. Another innovation that we are promoting is related to water efficiency, which is extremely important for the region. I will just give you an example. Recently, a mayor of South Corfu resigned because of government delays when it comes to dealing with water scarcity in the region. So water scarcity becomes an increasingly alarming issue, especially for the islands in Southeast Europe, and this is something that we need to address urgently. And we see it not only as a risk that we need to mitigate, but also as a value-generating strategy, which promotes customer loyalty and engages eco-conscious travelers all around the world, which is something, of course, very important from a financial perspective as well. So we managed to identify a water solution that can recycle up to 90% of the water that is being used in the hotel, as well as save more than 80% of the energy, because due to the recycling, there is no need for reheating of the water. This is a Scandinavian company that we've managed to source, and it will be applied for first time, at least in Southeast Europe, as a solution. Finally, I want to conclude with reskilling and upskilling element, which is fundamental. And of course, it's an area that we work very closely together with the team of Catalyst. We have identified that training of the staff, especially on energy efficient practices and how to better utilize renewable resources that will exist in the hospitality management project is very important. So a part of our investment will be targeted towards these training initiatives. Also, we see that engaging the guests in sustainability effort is a key element of the success. And this starts, of course, with having the necessary transparency and accountability and providing info to the guests on how their everyday presence in the hotel actually contributes towards climate neutrality and a better environmental footprint. And finally, it's very important to successfully engage with the local communities, to collaborate with regional authorities, municipalities, to promote environmental awareness through practical examples, such as how we manage water and energy, as well as how we promote local and healthy nutrition in the menu of the hotel. And finally, we have a blue economy angle as well, because the hotel, of course, is next to the sea, and we're trying to keep the coasts as clean as possible and promote packaging materials that will not be harmful for the local environment. I've tried to be as quick as possible. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you
And
so
I will
much.
be glad to share more material in the next steps of this discussion.
Thank you. Yes, it is a great example, and we're happy to hear. So, what is the expected timeline for the construction site? When do you plan to be opened?
The construction has already started. Also, it's interesting to mention that more than 60% of the materials are focused on renovation. So this is also a strategy to save CO2 and material, to improve the CO2 and material footprint and save a lot of construction waste. We think that in the next 2 years, the 2 hotels will have been accomplished. And I really hope that within the next 2 years, we will have the opportunity to invite you there, so you can, experience the circularity transition mission from the inside, and also enjoy the island of Corfu.
We would love that. Yes. That's the easy part, where to sign up for this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good luck with the next adventures. If you like, you can also share in chat some of the challenges, because we would like now to address some of the challenges that are existing. So it's not always that easy. And as you say, this is a topic where there is effect also on the policymakers, the people who are running institutions. So it's expectations from the clients, from the citizens as well. So there is the different aspect that we can also
Of course.
consider. Yes.
One of the challenges, of course, has to do with dependencies on external infrastructure, where you actually need governmental or municipal intervention, and that can take a lot of time. We faced that when we were trying to figure out solutions on water scarcity, and this is why we identified this option, that you don't need to invest in changing the infrastructure, the one which is external to the hotel. So you have, let's say, water management solutions that can be easily adapted to existing infrastructure and create a quick win through that. And another challenge, of course, is related to the costs. That's why you need transparency from the very beginning, because that might affect the return of investment, which is very important for investors as well. However, this challenge also creates opportunities because we see that the Recovery and Resilience Fund, based on the Generation EU package, prioritizes green investments that encapsulate these environmental considerations in their solutions. So actually, it can be a challenge from a financial perspective, but also it can be an opportunity because it triggers public grants. Of course, timing is again a very critical aspect. But with our financial tools as Poros, we can actually expedite the process by giving the necessary own funds in order then to unlock and trigger public funds that might need more time in order to be dispersed.
Thank you very much.
And finally, training, as I mentioned, which is very important because, circularity and sustainability is not just a technical process. It's mostly an investment to human capital and
building the capacity.
Exactly, to building the capacity. And I hope that we will have the chance to share best practice on that as well and cooperate with Catalyst, because a core aspect of the mission of this project is also promote reskilling, not only at an individual level, but also at a market transformation level.
Agree. Yeah. Thank you very much, Alexandros. We have one more representative from Greece, and we have with us. So I think we will now continue this discussion and presentation. We have with us Theodoros, who will also share on the topic of energy efficiency in green buildings. So please welcome. The floor is yours. Thank you again for your time and patience to be with us.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I will be very, very short. Let me introduce myself in order to better understand my approach. So I'm Theodoros Theodosiou. I'm a professor in civil engineering department in Thessaloniki, Greece. I have been working on building physics and energy efficiency of buildings for more than 30-something years. So this is actually what I do and where my knowledge is actually located. But as everybody else, I'm also involved in circularity. And this hasn't happened by chance. This is a very well-organized approach or path that many of us, people that are related scientifically or professionally in energy efficiency, we are all moving to circularity. And this is very important for other people that are active in circularity in order to understand us, to understand also how the energy efficiency is unavoidably a very large part of what we are trying to do, at least when it comes to not just to constructions, but mainly to the building sector. And the difference of the building sector is actually that it has a very long operational stage if we approach it using a life cycle approach. And for most of us over the last 3 decades, the operational part of a life of a building, of such a construction was the key issue in order to achieve sustainability. So over the last 30 years, especially in Europe, we have made amazing work, great progress, and we have managed in a very short time, if you look back to the history and the history of buildings and the design of buildings, we have made this huge progress, and we have achieved to have buildings that actually have very low energy consumption, very high energy efficiency. And this was our response as a European community, at least, as a response to the significant problems regarding the energy consumption and CO2 emissions that comes from buildings. The moment we have managed to achieve this significant energy efficiency, we have realized, as soon as we did that, that the overall impact, environmental impact of buildings, as green building councils actually approach it and see it, did not alter too much. I mean, we have made huge progress in operational efficiency, but by using materials with very high embodied energy, very high embodied carbon. So at the end of life of the building, after 50 or 60 years, the impact to the planet is more or less the same, either if it is a very efficient building or an old, not efficient building. So moving to circularity or expanding our interest to circularity is a key issue, actually, in order to manage this huge problem that we are having, the embodied energy. And we can achieve it by actually trying to make use of all the waste that comes out from buildings, not just through demolition. Actually, a building creates huge volumes of material, of waste during its demolition, but over the more than 50 years that usually a building lives, also creates huge waste, amount of waste due to energy renovations, for example. You know, by renovating a building in order to improve its energy efficiency, we do consume a lot of materials, and we elevate the embodied energy and carbon of the building. So trying to relate the end of life with the beginning of life, in the middle is actually the operational stage, the operational energy, is what we are actually focusing in order to actually do what we have promised to deliver, efficient buildings, not just for their operational part, but for their entire life stage. So for all Europe, actually, right now, for everyone that it is related to energy efficiency of buildings, for us right now, sustainability also has its significant part of sustainability is actually also circularity in order to achieve our goals. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So as you say, there are many aspects to be considered. One is the energy, the other are the materials, the life cycle of the building. So what we hear today are these different aspects, and starting from the design until the end of life, and introducing all the elements into the loop in order really to talk about circularity. Thank you very much for your time and this presentation, Theodoros. And we are going to welcome Gordana now, and she's coming from Serbia, representing APA Decor Cigla. That is a company which has an innovative approach dealing with especially the waste coming from the buildings, but creating a new material, new product. So Gordana, please share your story briefly and some of the experience that you have so far with your company. Please just unmute, I think. Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gordana. I'm from Serbia. My English is not so good. My husband speak better, and
he will help you.
He will help me.
Okay. Nice to see you, everybody. My name is Sandra Kopilovic. I'm a kind of associate in my wife's business. Anyway, we are a small family manufacturer. We started about 7 years ago as an initiative for doing something else here on the field of recycling building materials. It is not of our specific sort of education. The chief of our company, Gordana, is agricultural engineer. I'm a medical doctor, and the rest of our staff, which is about 4, are not at all from construction business. So we tried everything to do something with saving building materials. We started like association for preservation of old building German materials from the north of our country. We have a lot of houses built from German old bricks and materials and tiles, paper tiles, and etc. So all those materials, if you turn down the house, they will end up on dump, basically. We have just one number to say to you. About each year, about 850,000 tons of building waste materials are ending up in Belgrade only. And as far as we know, there is no initiative from the state or the state agency to do something with that. So basically, everything that is toned down in Serbia ends up in the waste. Our business, our manufacturer, started to buy material from torn down houses. Basically, it's old German brick and paper tile, and we buy those materials from basically people who are breaking down their houses, and mechanically do something with this material. Basically, we are making tiles to make something of exterior and interior decoration with that, and also we use paper tile in the same way. So amount of business we are having on a monthly basis is about 100 on 150 to 200, and sometimes even 1,000 meters of material that we are saving from the basically dump, and trying to recycle that material. The only important thing I can tell you right now is that we are not receiving any help from the state or the state agencies, and basically we have a legislative that is dealing with this problem, but on the ground we're not seeing any progress and helping from the government in this kind of way. So we are basically the only organization that is dealing with reuse materials. From 1 month ago, we became a member of the Serbian demolition organization. So they are helping us to approach to some projects that we'll hope we will get from your European Union. And this project is about making some demolition points at the site of demolition, and we should be the ones that regulate and specificate all that waste material and make it safe, and eventually sell that waste material to someone else. Basically, we are doing business for about 7 years, and I think that we are the only ones in Serbia up to this day that we are dealing with something like that with reused materials in construction and building business.
Thank you very much for sharing. This is quite impressive and deserves to be boosted, and hope you continue with this initiative. Firstly, as you say, you already started 7 years ago. What I'm hearing is that you are having a vision and interest to continue with it, finding support. So I think also throughout this community that now we're establishing and through the hub, there will be more opportunities similar to this, where you will be able to succeed and to get the support. What you're asking are quite important questions. And this is some of the things that we would like now to open the floor to everybody to share, to introduce themselves. Some of you we already know, but there are many new faces as well. So we are very happy to now stop the recording and do a session of networking, non-formal gathering, sharings, and please expect from us a follow-up email with some additional information that we would like to share. Plus, from September onwards, we are starting with the meetings that the Circular Economy Hub will have, and especially with matchmaking events where one of the topics will be circular construction, to dedicate and again to come together and discuss, okay, what are the opportunities, where to find funding, how can we create new synergies among each other, etc.
Thank you, Angelina.
Thank you.